Hey everybody, my name is Professor Fredericks, and I am very excited to welcome you to CIS655, Cloud Applications Development. Now, this class is 100% async and online, so you are essentially going to be seeing me through the camera throughout the entirety of the semester, unless you want to drop by and say hi during office hours, which I highly encourage. Anyway, this video is all about kind of getting you up and running with our tech stack, showing you everything that you can expect in the class, and just getting you comfortable with everything that we'll be working with. So before we get into the actual technical bits, so what you kind of see here on the screen is a slightly different intro than you might notice in some of the other videos. Essentially, I have a brand new recording setup for the semester. I moved from Windows to Linux because Windows 11, and I had to recreate everything that I used to do in Streamlabs, which is what I used to record everything, in OBS, which is a delightful program, it turns out. But what that means is that some things are going to look a little bit different. Not to worry, essentially, it just means it's slightly older video, which shouldn't put you off either because essentially all of the concepts are pretty much the same. It's just the interfaces have changed. And I'll try to record new videos where it makes sense as well. But let's get into it so I don't keep you here too long. So what you see in front of you is the current iteration of the Google Cloud Console. Now this is their interface for the cloud. Also my nice massive KDE mouse here, which every time you shake your mouse, it gets bigger, which I recently learned. It's a fun little thing. But it's kind of a little preview. We're going to be spending a lot of time in Google Cloud. Now, the reason why we are doing that is that Google, at least currently, has a very generous education credits program, meaning that you are all going to get free credits to be working in Google Cloud. You can do absolutely anything that you want in there, as long as it's legal. And basically, it's 100% free to you. So with that, do not ever put your credit card into any system in here. You will see a lot of offers for free trials if you have never worked in this platform before. Do not sign up for them. Everything that you will be doing is free through me via this education program. And essentially, all that means is that you will be getting an email from me if you haven't received it already, outlining how to sign up for the credits, how to apply them to your account, and essentially how to kind of use them throughout the entirety of the semester. And once you run out of credits, you just ask me for more and I can get you more. And there are other cloud providers out there. There's AWS, there's Microsoft Azure, DigitalOcean. They're all great. Only thing for class things is that AWS provides a walled garden where you can't go outside of the confines of their lab. Like you can't get free credits to just do whatever you want in AWS. In Azure, it's non-existent for education, at least in the current year. So we'll be mostly working in Google Cloud. All of the concepts are transferable from one platform to the other. So if we're doing, say, Cloud Run functions in Google Cloud, that would be an Azure function or it'd be a Lambda function in AWS. So a lot of the things are very, very similar. They just have a different interface, different names, but it's the same concept. Okay. Other fun fact, so this interface you see here, it was different last year in class. It was different the year before. In my undergraduate version of this class, we were doing things in Cloud Run functions. So if I were to pop up here and go over to Cloud Run functions, these used to be called Cloud functions. They changed the name of it mid-class, which is a delight for keeping people engaged. But just be aware as we go through the class, things are going to change. They might change day to day, month to month. It's just one of those things you have to get used to in the cloud. Your favorite service might disappear next year, and you just kind of have to deal with that because you're at the whim of some third-party provider. It's fun. It's a good time, but it's a very useful skill to have, right? To be fairly adaptive. Okay, so we have cloud platforms. We're going to be mostly spending our time in Google Cloud. We may get into a little bit of AWS. There is this platform they have called AWS Academy, which we have access to. I'll probably assign you a small handful of things just to show you how similar they are to what we're doing in Google Cloud. But again, same concept, different interface. If you know one, essentially you know the other. All right. One thing to get into before we get too deep into this, I've got a separate video on the topic, but it's the fun topic of plagiarism in class, so my stance is that you should not be doing this. I have a zero tolerance policy for it. Again, I've got another video going through it, so I don't want to spend a ton of time here now, but just want to kind of get the point out there. If I see it, it will be reported to the Oscar group, who also have a zero tolerance policy for that. So let's just make sure we never get into that situation. And if you have questions, please reach out to me. Please reach out to the team at Oscar. That's OSCCR. And we'll get your concerns taken care of. But ask first before getting in trouble, because that ends up with failing grades for assignments or the entire semester, and nobody wants to deal with that. Least of all me. But again, watch that video if you are concerned, or just reach out to me. I'm happy to chat about that to, again, avoid a problem later on. So with that out of the way, your first stop is probably going to be in Blackboard. So Blackboard should look like this for you when you get into the class. Ideally, everything is up and running for you. Things may change, may move around throughout the semester. That's just kind of the nature of a live class, right? If anything ever changes, I will drop you an email or a notification that is significant so that you can be aware of things that are going on. But what we've got here is the course webpage link. So this takes you to this page that you see here. I'll be updating this throughout, well, in the next couple weeks anyway. I'll be making a lot of changes in here, so it's not going to look exactly the same in terms of timestamps and all that, but the style will be fairly similar. Essentially what I've got are a series of posts, which are essentially your textbook for the class. Now I've broken everything up into separate weeks, but think of it kind of, again, like your textbook. So all the course material will draw from the videos and the material that you see here and the labs that you'll be doing. And then there's 15 weeks of stuff for you to go through of varying levels of complexity. I would highly recommend keeping up with the material, keep up with the videos, make sure that if you have any questions, again, you come to office hours or you reach out to me minimally by email. I'm also available by Discord, and I'll show you that towards the end of the video. But each of these posts has a whole bunch of information for you to skim through, read very deeply, and parse out, right? But that's all up there. So that's course webpage. Week to week, I'll update this upcoming deadlines. It's a document in Blackboard. Essentially, it's what is coming up due, so that you can keep that in mind. Turns out this is the easiest way to manage deadlines in Blackboard, which is a good time. Your course information, so the structure of the course, my office hours, our technologies, best practices from Google. This is it's going to be an expanding list. I'll probably add extra stuff in here, but basically, don't put your credit card in, shut things off when you're done, that kind of fun stuff. Syllabus will be up here for you to look through. Make sure you read through that so that you know what's going on. And then every week I will have stuff for you to read through. So this is basically broken up by 3 weeks at a time. Not sure why Blackboard is reordering this one to be second, but here's weeks 1 to 3. So intro and serverless computing, links to the various blog posts that are tied to that, and some assignments for you to get through. Quick note on assignments, make sure that you keep up with them. I realize this may seem like a lot of assignments. Keep in mind, they should not be all that difficult for you to get through. It's a lot of configuring, setting things up, getting used to the interface, and basically following the guidelines that you have to get things done. But keep in mind, we don't have a formal lecture for this class. Since it's async, we don't have that 9 hours a week in the classroom. So essentially, instead, you are getting all hands-on experience, which honestly, to me, is probably more useful with things like this because you're actually messing about with it, right? So getting to know you, this is basically just tell me who you are, because unless, again, you come to office hours or I know you previously, I probably will never see you in person. But this assignment 2 is a good example here. So cloud setup your first web server. If I were to click this, I have some information about what has to be done for the lab. So this one, I do this specified code lab. And then here's all the stuff that I'm looking for. All right, so not all of the assignments will be like this. I'll come back to this in a second. But later on, we'll also have things like quick labs, which are renamed into Cloud Skills Boost labs. I'll try to go through and make sure I update all the terminology for that, but there's a chance that Quick Labs kind of filters through here and there. But these are little self-contained lab assignments where basically you go out, you do a guided lab of something in Google Cloud. Not sure why it's taking so long to load. There we go. Thank you. This is a separate system, by the way, from Google Cloud. Skills Boost is its own entity. You'll get your own pile of credits for this thing. I'll talk about this. I'll talk about it now, sorry. Basically, you would sign up for a separate system. You'll just use your mail.gvsu accounts, which is fine. I will assign you a whole bunch of credits once you are in the system, and then you would kind of run through these with Start Lab, and then you go through. Here's the setup and requirements. Here's all the stuff you need to do. These tend to be a lot of like copy and pasting, but make sure that you kind of read through and understand what's actually going on because they are walking you through. Okay, this one is Cloud Endpoints, which is basically setting up APIs for whatever services you want. So if you ever needed to do this for some other application, you could come back here and use this as a starting point. But basically with these, I will get a report that you completed them. Through this Cloud Skills Boost setup, I'll also ask you for screenshots because sometimes if you're doing these in other courses, they kind of get mushed together and I don't exactly get reports for everybody. So also be looking for screenshots for these too. That being said, so I said there's also a code lab. So this is another type of lab environment. These are created by people that are not always directly associated with Google. So for instance, this one here I created. Kind of cool. If you are interested, you can write these yourself. It's a nice little interface for setting up kind of tutorials or things like that. Talk about that separately if you want. But basically these ones, you kind of go through each of the steps, you get set up, you follow the guidelines, and then this one you end up with a working web server and hopefully screenshots to show me that you did the thing. So just kind of make sure that you pay attention as you go through the various assignments. Again, all the info that I'm really going to be grading should be inside of the assignment. And if you ever have any questions, again, feel free to reach out and ask me for help. Okay, so we have Blackboard. Again, with Blackboard, every professor's reminder, submit early if you can, because a lot of times with the cloud environment specifically, there may be hiccups or issues that you run into where if you are doing it the night something is due, you just can't get it done because of some technical glitch. Make sure you start early because the late penalty that you will see in the syllabus is that after 3 days, I don't accept the assignments, and it's 10% off every day up until that point. So make sure you get things done well in advance. Again, these should not take you that long to get through. All right. And again, if you're having issues keeping up, please let me know and we can try to work something out. Okay, so some other things. I'm looking at my little guide here over on the other screen to make sure that I tell you everything that's important in here. If you run into anything throughout the semester that is just not working or that looks really weird or different, it's possible that Google Cloud updated something and I didn't realize it, or a video got outdated significantly because of some update that I wasn't aware of. Just reach out and let me know, and best case, I can record a brand new video very quickly for that, or simply just kind of walk you through what the changes are and what you have to deal with. Again, like this interface here, this is completely different from last year, which is not bad. It's just buttons have moved and it's frustrating if you're used to working in one particular environment, right? But yeah, if you are concerned, please let me know. And then the last couple of things. So I mentioned we might be doing some, or we will be doing some AWS Academy stuff. I don't think your interface will look exactly like this, but essentially what will be happening is that I will assign you to a course. So this Cloud Foundations one would be an example where I give you things to kind of go through and do. And much like the Cloud Skills Boost Labs, I'll get a report that you completed stuff in here. In the assignments, you will have exactly what has to be done for that. But for example, assignments. So Lab 2, build your own VPC and launch a web server. Pretty similar to the code lab that I showed you before, except here you're also building a virtual private cloud. which would be a networking environment that you would create later on. Now we would do something like this in Google Cloud as well. This environment, again, it's another system, another interface for you to get used to, but basically you click load lab, you click start later on, and then you get in and you do the assignment, and I see that the report was done. And then you'd have experience in AWS as well as Google Cloud. Okay, last two things. I see that we are at 15 minutes, which is probably way too long for an intro video. I also have a Discord server that I run, and I've got a CIS655 channel. Now I'm going to not leave that open for too long there, but essentially it is an unofficial place where you can join it if you want. It is not a requirement, but if you want to fire me a quick message, ask the channel if there is any questions, anything like that, or any issues with an assignment, feel free to pop in and use that. Not required. The invite links will be in the Blackboard tech stack assignment, I believe, or a tech stack document, I believe. But feel free to use that if you want. And if you don't want to join it, there's also the general CIS, School of CIS Discord server run by students where you can always ask stuff in there as well. Sorry about the weird cut, had a strange technical glitch. You can always email me, you can Discord message me. You can also send me messages through Blackboard if you prefer. I should get an email copy of the message if you send it through here, as long as Blackboard hasn't changed its configuration, which does happen from semester to semester, which is a good time. But other than that, that should be everything you need to get up and running with the class. So again, make sure you keep up with the videos, with the posts, with the assignments. If you are ever confused or falling behind, again, please reach out to me sooner rather than later because I can help you. If it is before the assignment is due, afterwards, I'm probably not going to be as forgiving. So otherwise, I hope you all enjoy the course, that you find the material useful. I know a lot of students have told me in the past that some of the things we've gone over have actually been quite helpful for their jobs. So hopefully you get the same experience and let's have a great semester. All right, thanks everybody. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.